In Chapter 10, we have rafting through the Grand Canyon. Do you know the Grand Canyon? Have you heard of Grand Canyon?
Yes.
Where is it located?
Arizona.
It's Arizona, yes. It is a place where people go for tourism. It's a very important tourist spot. It's a very important geological structure phenomenon where the river passes through the mountains and has cut a very, 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 very deep valley. And at the bottom, there's still the river that goes through from Colorado to Arizona to California out to the Pacific Ocean. And in this Grand Canyon, it's very, very deep. And it's very, very pretty. If you ever have a chance to go there.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you go?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What season did you go in? Remember what month?
Oh, it's around June something.
Around June or something.
That's
Uh-huh.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was nice, huh?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
We just stand in the view and look up down.
You just you look down?
Look down.
You look down in the canyon, then you didn't walk, you didn't hike?
No, I can.
Oh, you couldn't walk down. I went there when I was younger, when I was a student at Stanford. I went with some other classmates, and we hiked down into the canyon, and we had very heavy backpacks because we had to carry all of our food and our bedding and our tents and all of our equipment.
You have to sleep overnight.
And we slept overnight in tents in different parts of the canyon. And most of us had never done that before, but one of our classmates was from Arizona and very familiar with it. She planned the trip, so we followed her lead. And we followed her down into the canyon and back up. It was a long trip. And we went in April because it was our school break between winter and spring quarters. We had a week off. So we drove out there and we hiked down, and then we hiked back up, and then we drove back to California. And it was a very interesting trip. And I went there again last year with my daughter and my husband. So would you like me to show you some pictures?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to go get them, and I'll show them to you next week. Okay? All right. So in the meanwhile...
So I have a question.
Oh, you have a question? All right, you can ask your question.
Which season I should go to Grand Canyon?
Which season should you go to the Grand Canyon? I think that you should go maybe between April and October. But if you go between October and April, you could get some very cold weather, and it could be snowy. So it might be difficult to bear the weather. And it also depends on whether you want to do like I did when I was young. We actually hiked down the Grand Canyon and we stayed there. Or if you stay at the top. So there's different temperatures because there's such a wide range of elevations. And the elevation, different elevation, and also whether the sun travels in there, whether the wind travels in there or not, can change the temperature a lot. The weather is very changeable. So it could be hot someday, one day it's hot, and then the next day it's windy and cold. It's possible. So sometimes in the summer, it could be kind of hot. Yeah. But other days, like when I went, it was very pleasant. Very, very nice. We didn't complain about anything. It was very nice. But when I went in April, I remember my classmates and I thought, oh, when we go to the Grand Canyon, it should be hot, and we will enjoy it there. And it turned out that during the week that we were there, it was cold. It rained, and it actually snowed. And we were shocked. We were shocked. And so we had to find a huge rock to sleep under some part of a cliff, because otherwise we would get very wet. So a lot of people thought that it would be hot in the canyon and they would run around in their bathing suits. But we didn't do that. So, it varies. You have to be prepared for, it's good to wear different layers of clothing, so you can peel off one layer at a time depending on the weather. But the most important thing to remember is to bring water, lots and lots of water. The most dangerous thing is to go hiking without water, because water is essential. And you should bring a couple of bottles like this as you're going down, because you travel out, especially you guys, you're city people, right? Right? Am I right?
Yes.
You're not used to heavy, really strong weather and hiking a lot. So some people are anxious to see the beauty, and as soon as they see it, they want to hike. But if they're ill prepared, like they don't have good shoes, good hiking boots, then their feet will get blisters, right? And if you don't, the most important thing is water. Yeah. So if you don't bring anything at all but water, the most important thing, that's the most important thing to do. And as I said, the weather is changeable, so you should have some sort of raincoat. Maybe even even in summer, you should have a raincoat, something that you can wear, like a poncho, something lightweight that you can wear over other layers of jackets, because you don't know when the weather's going to change. But it's really beautiful. I'll show you some pictures later, okay? Okay. Now, in this lesson, we're going to study, again, we're working on our stress and unstressing function words. And we talked a lot about how we want to stress the content words and make them longer. And that always has to be in contrast to something else, right? So if we have something long, then the opposite of long is something short, right? So we make the content words long. What do we do with the function words? We have to make them short. We have to unstress them by making them short and making them weak and then making them low. So we'll practice that, because a lot of you have languages where you don't have compression of words, and we have to practice that in English because it's a little bit difficult. The other thing we want to work on is our rhythm. Now, rhythm comes from the alternation of long and short, right? If you ever think da 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 versus da 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 da, that's the rhythm. So the rhythm means that we are trying to feel the difference and hear the difference between short and long syllables, right? Because every language has a different rhythm. Yeah. Thought phrases. Of course, we're always working on speaking phrase by phrase in thought groups and putting our pauses in the right place. So you know that in phrase by phrase in this book, I mark all the phrases for you as models to show you where you should try to pause if you need to pause between groups of words. These words combine together in a thought group. All right? Now, in connected speech, when you listen, you have to listen and mark the pauses. And that way, you're listening from the other side. In other words, instead of being told where to mark, you're saying, I have to listen. Where does the speaker pause so we can find out the thought groups? But in any case, we're working on trying to join our words together in phrases, and we connect them together by linking them. And also we use our intonation contour, our pinch and intonation contour over each phrase to help our listeners understand that this is a thought group. The sounds that we're working are the sound, as in the sound raft, and river, the R. The letter R occurs in many languages in writing, but it's not pronounced the same way in many languages. So we have to pay attention to that sound. I have you do a lot with your tongue, right? So we can really work on how to position your tongue to make the sound as in raft, and also the sound ol as in lake. So that also uses the tongue. We have to be really conscious of our tongue when we make the sounds and ol. As in raft and ol as in lake. All right? So we'll be ready for that with our tongue movement, okay? Now, let's look at the vocabulary focus. And you'll see that in this vocabulary focus, we have some sentences, and each sentence has an underlined word. So that's our target word, and you need to find a synonym for that underlined word. Our first one says the room was so silent that you could hear a pin drop. Silent. So what's
extremely quiet?
Extremely quiet. All right, very quiet. So that's E, letter E, right? Okay, and the second one is a blanket of darkness covered the fields. Blanket.
Thick layer.
A thick layer. All right, you know the blanket on your bed, right? But you could also use blanket of something else, not for sleeping, but just meaning a thick layer of something. The number 3 is the tour guide led the visitors to famous places in the area. So what's a guide?
Somebody who leads others.
Right, somebody who leads others in the right direction. Okay, yes. Have you ever been on a tour and had a tour guide? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Have any of you been a tour guide? Okay, I've led a couple of tours, many tours to China. So I've acted as a guide, a tour guide in China.
You?
And
Tour guide.
not as a profession, but just as, temporary thing.
Did you say you can't speak Chinese?
Yeah.
Say it again, please.
You can't speak.
No. She can
Oh, did I say I can't speak Chinese?
No, she can speak Chinese.
I don't think I said that. Do you want to speak Chinese with me?
Okay, I can't.
You can't? Maybe the thing is you can't speak Chinese.
Sure, I can.
I think you can say 1 ton.
Okay, you can say wonton. If you go to the Chinese market. Oh, okay, you can have the dumpling. Wonton, right? Okay, you can have wonton soup. Okay, yeah, like I can speak Vietnamese and have some pho.
Yes.
Okay,
I learned Chinese before when you were in Vietnam, but then I forgot.
you learned Chinese in Vietnam?
Yeah.
How come you forgot it?
Because I can't speak with anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, you can take Chinese here at Mission College. You can take classes,
But it's,
and then you'll.
the writing is difficult. Writing is too much.
It's hard.
Right. Writing is difficult. Yeah, that's true. You could, if you want, you can concentrate on just taking Chinese conversation class, and learn pinyin, which is like the alphabet system, to learn how to pronounce the words, and then not. Oh, okay. 买东西, yeah. Oh my goodness, I couldn't quite. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your accent. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes I act as a tour guide when people come to visit me, and they come to California and they want somebody to show them San Francisco or take them around the Bay Area, and so I guide them. You use the word guide as a verb and as a noun, right? To guide someone, to lead someone. To be a guide, to be the leader. All right, let's go on to the next word. They crossed the lake on a rubber raft. What's a raft? It's a raft. It's a flatboat.
Filled with air.
Yes. Some rafts are made out of wood, others are rubber, and if they're rubber, then they're filled with air. Right, they're filled with air if they're made out of rubber. But if they're made out of wood, maybe the branches can be used as ties to put the branches, the thin branches can be, you take logs and then you wrap them together with natural materials. You can make a raft like that. You can make a raft out of anything. I suppose you were stranded on an island. You would look for anything that could make you float. And could be a raft, right? Maybe if you wanted to float away from it. Okay, here's another one. Which one are we at? 5? Several deep caverns can be seen in the canyon walls. What are caverns?
Large caves.
Large caves, which are carved out of a mountain or a cliff. Okay, and number 6 is let's flip a coin. If it's heads, I win, and if it's tails, you win. What does it mean to flip it? To turn over quickly. Okay, so how do you usually flip a coin? How do you flip a coin? Okay, so maybe Some people will put it on their thumb and then go, doink, and then catch it like that, right? Some people throw it up and then catch it, right? So that's a way to flip a coin. How do you flip a coin? Some of you might turn it. All right. That's not exactly flipping it, but it's a way to, oh, that's the way you do it. Okay, good. All right, number 7. A bottle with a message in it floated down the stream. Floated. It moved in the water. Right. Okay. Can you float?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't want to drown, I suggest that you float. If you're in the water. Yeah. Okay. So if you're learning to swim, if you're learning to swim, one of the first things you learn to do is float. Right? You learn to float on the water first, and then you learn to use your arms and legs, and you learn how to breathe and move your head, and those are the things you learn to do to make you move. So floating can just be without having any special movement. Can you say leaves float? Leaves float in the water? Is that possible? Yeah. Okay. How can a bottle float?
Inside the bottle.
What's inside of the bottle?
Air.
Air. Right. So a bottle, like if we have a water bottle or a glass bottle, and if it has air inside of it, then it can float. If there's no air in it and it gets filled with water or it has sand in it, then it won't float, will it? No, it won't. It'll sink. It'll sink. It'll sink. S-I-N-K. It'll sink. Yeah. Now, when do we use drown and sink? What's the difference between drowning and sinking? People drown. Okay, how do people drown? What does it mean? Their head doesn't have to be down. No. What does drown? What does it mean to drown? Not enough oxygen. All right, exactly. You lose oxygen, you cannot breathe, and you die. All right? So when you drown, that means you don't have any way to get oxygen because the water is all around you, and then you die. That's what drowning is. Okay? Yeah, you got it? D-R-O-W-N. Drown. Right. But sink. If you sink, you might go to the bottom, but you can jump back up. Then you're still alive. You didn't drown, right? So often we use the word sink for an object. Something that's heavy can sink to the bottom. Will it drown? Will it drown?
No.
Why not? It's not alive. Right, it's not alive. So drowning means death. Okay? Yeah, so that's a different. But you can also use this word figuratively. I'm drowning in work. What does that mean? I'm busy. I'm overworked. I have so much to do. I feel like I'm drowning in something means I feel overwhelmed by work. And I feel like I'm suffocated, but I can't even do anything else. Okay, not you, right? Okay, tumbled. Mrs. Finney lost her balance and tumbled down the stairs.
Fell suddenly.
Yeah, fell suddenly and awkwardly. Yeah, that word is awkward. Do you know this word? A-W-K, awk. W-A-R-D, wordly, awkwardly. Awkwardly or clumsily. Clumsy, you know the word clumsy? C-L-U-M-S-Y. C-L-U-M-S-Y. Clumsy. Awkward. These words mean not graceful, not nicely, but awkwardly means like you're not in good order. So, you know, sometimes people, like when they're very good dancers and they look beautiful and every movement they make is gorgeous, and then maybe they fall down, but it doesn't look so bad. Maybe I do it and I'm look very awkward or do something very clumsily. Tumbled kind of has that idea falling over. Now, there's another kind of tumble, which is what people do in gymnastics. You know gymnastics? Yes. So in gymnastics, when you tumble, oftentimes you go over, around, and over like that. So it has a special meaning in gymnastics. But if I walk over there and I tumble, I probably just fall on the floor, kind of awkwardly. Okay? Now the next word is passengers. 14 passengers were riding on the bus to the park. So passengers are travelers, okay, and they're riders. The people who are riding in the bus, they're not the drivers, right? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, some of you got to school today by car, right? Were you a passenger?
No.
You were a driver? Or were you a passenger? Okay, you were a passenger. That means that somebody else was the driver. Okay, somebody drove you here, and you were the passenger. Okay, and how about you? Were you a driver or the passenger? Driver. You were the driver. Okay, can you be both a driver and a passenger? No. Not at the same time. Not at the same time. Right. So you can drive sometimes and be the driver, and then you can sit in the car and be the passenger. But it would be very difficult to do both at the same time, right? Okay. Number 10 on the next page, page 98. The river turns into a waterfall where it flows over a cliff. A cliff. What's a cliff? It's a very high, steep rock, okay? So when the river is coming down and then it comes down, that's the waterfall. Okay, do you know something about this, the formation of this word? What have we been working on in terms of these words? Waterfall. What kind of word is it? Waterfall. It's a noun compound, right? Do you see the two parts of the word? You have the word fall, and you have the word water. And what is the stress, the syllable stress code? Waterfall. 3 syllables, stress on the first. 3-1, right. So it's stressed on the first word. Waterfall. It's not a waterfall. It's a waterfall. It's a waterfall. It kind of sounds like the name. Waterfall. Waterfall. Okay. Rafting along gentle parts of the river can be relaxing, but rafting through the white water of the rapids is usually more thrilling. 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 Very exciting. And kind of dangerous. Right. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Across the street here, across from Mission College, what do we have? What is that big amusement park called? Great America. Great America. How many of you have played there at Great America? Raise your hand. Only 2 people? Oh, 4. Thank you. At least a few people. 5 people have that. And the rest of you go like, play? I never play. Okay, why do people go to Great America? What's so fun at Great America? The rides. They're very exciting. They're very thrilling. You go on these rides and go, right? All right, have you done that? Do you like those? No. Okay, you know you don't like those. You're scared, but you like them, right? You like thrilling rides.
I'm not scared, but I don't like to wait for 1 hour.
Oh, you don't like to wait. Oh, you're impatient. But if you didn't have to wait, would you like the ride itself? Would you like that ride? Would you like those fast roller coaster rides? Yeah, because they're very fast. They're thrilling, right? Yeah. Do you like to scream? Do you like to scream when you go on those rides? Okay, some people close their eyes. Some people open their eyes really wide like that. What kind are you? What do you like to do? Yeah. Yeah. When my kids were younger, we used to buy a summer pass, family pass, so that we would go there and, when you pay for the whole day, then you feel like you have to spend so many hours there and then you get tired. But if you buy a pass, just go a few hours today and a few hours next week. and it's cheaper. And also, you don't have to go on those rides, right? There are other kinds of entertainment, like shows and music and games and very gentle things that you don't have to do thrilling things. But if you like thrilling things, they have really, really good rides. In fact, the rides at Great America are a lot more thrilling than Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah, don't you think so, Edwin?
Yes.
For sure.
The difference is Disney World is more bigger.
Yeah, Disneyland, Disney World are bigger, much bigger. They're much bigger. And they, the theme, I mean, the Disney theme is very, very strong. And you get to see all the Disney characters. But the rides are not thrilling. They're not thrilling. I mean, you go on something like the Matterhorn, and it's like, after you've been over here across the street, it's sort of like, oh, la, da, 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 up and down. Right? Yeah, for sure. Go try it. It's very exciting. Very thrilling. Okay.
But I think I don't want to try like bungee. They put
Oh, the bungee? You want to try that one? Doing, doing, doing. You want to try that one? You don't want to try that one? Who would like to do that one?
Oh, no.
I
No?
think one day
I
look
don't
like
think
it, and
anyone
you
try that. Don't scare me.
Uh-huh. It looks interesting to me, but I've never tried it. Okay, let's go to the next word, is adventure. My adventure, traveling on a river raft, left me with unforgettable memories. What is the adventure? Exciting and often dangerous trip. Okay, how many syllables are there in the word adventure? Adventure. Adventure, 3. And where's the stress? 3, 2. 3, 2. Adventure. Huh? Adventure. Just 3. Okay. 4 would be adventurous. Are you very adventurous? If you are very adventurous, you like to try new adventures. Yeah. Okay, number 13 is expert. Marianne is an expert swimmer who wins many competitions. What is expert?
Very skillful.
Very skillful or knowledgeable. Right, right. I do have a friend whose name is Marianne, and she is my co-author on another book called English for Childcare. She's an ESL teacher who retired from Mission College, but she's a swimmer, and she's been swimming all her life, and she still enters a lot of competitions, so she's very good. The next word is spectacular. After the rain, the sun came out, and we could see a spectacular rainbow across the sky. Yeah, what is that? Impressive or magnificent to look at. Something spectacular really attracts your eye. It really attracts you because it's very spectacular. The next word is survived. Fortunately, everyone survived the recent earthquake. Survived means stayed alive, especially during something very difficult or dangerous, right? Survived the earthquake, survived a storm, right? And number 16 is rapids. Be very careful when you swim in the river. Don't let the rapids carry you away. And notice that this one is with S, rapids, the rapids, as a noun phrase. What does that mean? The part of the river where the water moves very fast, usually over the rocks, over the rapids. Yeah, so you have to be careful in the river. Amazed. Tom had not seen his nephew in many years and was amazed to see him as a tall, handsome teenager. What does amazed mean?
Very surprised.
Very surprised, right. Yes, okay. If you're very surprised and filled with some sort of admiration, then you feel amazed. Amazement is the noun. And the last word is world. W-H-I-R-L-E-D. World. The dance is whirled around and around the dance floor. What does that mean? They turned around. Okay. Have you ever gone dancing and done something like the waltz? And you go around and around and then you round and around the dance floor. Yes. You like to dance?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's dance at our break time.